Do I have two of these?
In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the Six Gaming Podcast. I am your host, as always, Shosan. With me is a fantastic cast and crew. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
Nobody loves me. Hey everybody, this is Veg, or Vegetto. Ron horribly butchered my name in that little thing he did.
It was awesome.
Vegetto. He said Vegetto.
He did say Vegetto.
No, he's... anyway. Yeah, he sounded like the guy from the monster truck rallies.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. It was pretty awesome, I gotta tell you. Sadly, he's not with us. We'll get to Ron here in next week's episode. As you guys can see, we're kind of recording this on Valentine's Day, but that's okay. Anyway.
And for your information, we're all married.
Right, everyone.
That's true.
And up next,
Coles is not married, right? Or is he?
No, Coles is not.
Yeah.
I meant to say who's on right now is all married.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 24.
But Brox is also, so
yeah.
Most of the hosts are.
Fortunately. So, who are you, Mr. I'm interjecting?
Hey, it's Penth. If you normally all you see is a picture, so now I finally got a webcam, and I'll probably be looking below it a lot just because of where it sits on my screen, but
that's right.
Yeah.
I do.
So
it
here
all
we
the time.
are.
Here we are.
Saturday.
I know it. And the crazy thing is, you guys, we are kind of rebooting the podcast. We were going to have this awesome, catchy intro for you guys. Unfortunately, it is entirely too loud for us to use.
It's literally unplayable without bursting eardrums.
I can't do it to you guys. I literally can't. But I do get some other cool little stuff that I get to play around with in this week's episode, and hopefully every future episode, that we should be able to expand on. Now, what do I mean when I say we're rebooting this? Well, as many of you guys know, I happen to be out for the last 6 months, and life progressed as life tends to do, even while I'm gone, which was kind of a blow to my ego. But anyway,
you have an ego?
What's that?
You have an ego?
I have an ego. Not a very big one, but I have an ego. So what we decided to do is we're going to kind of rework things, and hopefully you guys as our listeners will find this more entertaining or possibly a better format. So with that, we basically broke everything down to 3 sections, but we're going to kick things off like we do every week and every week to come with our news.
Good news, everyone!
That's right! We have sound effects, damn it. I'm getting sound effects back into the show. I love it.
Their face sound effect.
I love sound effects. I give bonus points if you guys knew where that sound effect came from.
Professor Futureside.
Very good, Veg. Very good.
Futurama.
You get a clap. No, the old one was Futurama. The new one is Professor Futureside.
Yes, but the point is it's from Futurama.
Yeah.
Right.
So technically we're both right.
Yeah, I suppose you guys are.
I will be okay with that.
Are you sure?
I guess.
You were really hesitant there.
You're like, no. I don't want to share the limelight with Veg.
All right. Well, let's talk about some news, you guys. It's been a very interesting week for news, especially in the gaming world. There's one hot button topic that I do want to bring up here in a little bit. But first, let's talk about old Mr. Peter Molyneux, if that name rings any bells to you guys.
Populous, if I remember correctly.
Populous was one. He did Fable was one of his projects.
Fable. Hey, remember when he said in Fable, every single decision that you make will affect the world, and like everything's going to be based on your decisions, and good and evil is going to permeate the whole world. And then he released actually a really good game that didn't meet any of his promises.
Not one. It was actually really bad compared to how he hyped it.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. I enjoyed it.
That's the problem that he has, and that I mean, going into this article, I mean, the problem is that he hypes and hypes and hypes and hypes and talks. Is like Spore. I mean, you hype and hype and hype and hype, and then you release a pretty good game, but everyone, it's like I think we talked last week about Daikatana. It's like that game was crap anyway, but even if it hadn't been crap, everyone would have talked down on it because it was so hyped, and then it didn't meet any of the hype.
Yeah, not one expectation. And that's what this article is about.
But to be fair, has any game truly lived up to its hype?
Well, kind of. I mean,
Mass Effect
Grand
2.
Theft Auto kind of did. You know, they talked about the new Grand Theft Auto 5 in this situation. They said, hey, we're going to put you guys in like an MMO type thing. You're going to be able to have this bigger, more open world and all these more missions. I mean, that one kind of lived up to its hype. I'd say it did.
But it's also let it down in a huge way because they keep saying, right on release, like, oh yeah, you're going to be able to do heists just like in the first, single player game, and it's been 2 years and we're still waiting for it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do have to agree with Penth. With Mass Effect, was it you that said Mass Effect 2, Penth?
Yeah, I said 2 because one, there wasn't a ton of hype behind it because it was brand new.
I didn't even hear about 1 until 2.
3,
really?
There was a lot of hype, and 3 was a fantastic game, but the ending, good. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people said it was, but they didn't give you, not every game has to have a happy ending, but after everything, like, in the first, you were expecting, like, in the first game I made this certain decision, like, I let the Rachnos Queen live, so you expected there to be, like, some really serious consequences to that in the end, and it was sort of like, well, if you didn't choose that, then there's a different Rachnos Queen. Like, they just kind of subverted some of your choices a little bit.
And I agree. I think I don't know. To me, the ending seemed really forced, and that was the problem. It's like they did this great game and all this brilliant build-up, and then they got to the end, they're like, well, we don't know how to properly close this, so here you go.
Yeah.
And I think if it wasn't for the ending, as you said, the game itself was brilliant, and I absolutely adored every minute of playing it. But I think the ending got overhyped because so many people were upset about it, and everybody had to voice their opinion, and it made it into something bigger than it should have been.
Yeah. Wasn't there a petition or something like that at one point for them to change the ending?
Yeah. Well, they did. They released a free patch that changed the ending slightly and added like a fourth sort of like secret ending.
Right. Yeah, I remember
basically
that one.
Refusing to choose, but I don't know if it was Kotaku. Somebody sent to I'm forgetting the developer right now. Activision.
BioWare.
They went to BioWare. They sent a box of cupcakes, and they were green, red, and blue cupcakes, but they were all vanilla.
Nice. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That's
that was awesome.
That would be Kotaku too. But yeah, so anyway, what's going on with Peter Molyneux? He basically said, "Look, I'm not." He said, and I quote, "It's over, and I will not speak to the press again."
As he spoke to the press.
Saying this to the press, but yeah, this article is on The Guardian. I'd go Google search this one; it's pretty interesting. But he was talking about Goddess, one of his newer games, which is an interesting game. Don't get me wrong; it's not bad by any means, but again, overhyped, very typical Molyneux.
You would think after all these years, people would pick up on like, oh hey, he's going to overhype this just for him to get sales, and then people bitch about it.
Well, as a result, he rage quit the whole thing.
Did it ever? It hasn't even come out on any platform other than mobile, and on mobile, it's basically like a click to send invites to your friends to build another barracks or whatever. I mean, like, it's crap.
It's just like Dungeon Keeper now.
Yes, he didn't take a hint that everyone hated Dungeon Keeper because they try to monetize it. And the other thing is, I don't remember if you guys remember, and Ron brought this up last year, whenever it was. Remember Curiosity, Once Inside the Cube? Like,
yeah. Overhyped.
That was like his thing, and he was like, whoever breaks the final block is going to get an amazing prize that'll change their life. And and they don't have to share the information with everyone. Well, the dude did. It was like some 18-year-old, and the prize was that he gets like 1% of profits from Goddess, and he gets to be like the god of gods. Like he gets to go into the MMO. He basically gets to be a GM, right? He gets to go out into the world and do whatever he wants with infinite powers. And like 22 Cans was the name of the company that he spun off to do this side project.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one person keeping in touch with his kid, and then like they either quit or left the company or something.
Yep.
And no one followed up with him. So this dude's like, I won this worldwide hyped up game, and I haven't heard shit from anyone for a year. And Peter's like, oh yeah, that was inexcusable. I'll take care of that. It's like, dude, you should have taken care of that a long time ago.
Right. And that's very typical Molyneux. Honestly, I almost want to say I give up on the guy. Like he did Fable, he did some brilliant games, but these days I can't take his word for anything. You know what I mean? It's just it's not. It doesn't mean anything to.
Like a cheating ex-girlfriend.
Right. I mean, I'd like to think that most of you guys out there would feel the same way. I mean, gamers as a whole, that's got to be a huge letdown.
It is.
Can I give my favorite analogy about cheating ex-girlfriends, by the way, or cheating significant others? So, because I have a couple of friends that have over the years, like someone cheated on them, or they had a relationship fall apart, and then later on they went back to it.
Right.
And so it's like you go to your fridge and you open up the door and you take out the milk, and you just really want some milk, and you pour a big glass of milk and you drink something, and you're like, oh my god, the milk's sour. When did this expire? Oh god, like 2 months ago? Maybe it'll be better tomorrow.
I mean, that's really...
Put it back in the fridge and you try it again expecting a different result.
Yep. Alzheimer's for the young. That's what it is.
I wouldn't call that Alzheimer's. I'd just call it stupidity or desperation.
I don't know. I like to think of it in terms of I have Alzheimer's, because I do that shit all the time. I'll do something stupid and then walk back to it a week later wondering why I expected something new. But I don't know. I do. So anyway, I'm going to save this next news topic actually here a little bit towards the end. So let's go into some WoW news, because our podcast wouldn't be the same without something WoW. But anyway, so I don't know if you guys are aware. World of Warcraft likes to raise money for different charities here and there, doing different things through the game. This time they put out another digital pet that you can buy in-game. Little, like, I don't even know how to describe it, like a little horse or something.
It's like a Draenei fused into a goat.
I was going to say a Draenei goat.
Yeah, it's weird. But it goes by the name Argy. I think I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, Argy.
Anyway.
Yeah,
something. But they raised $1.9 million through those sales for the Red Cross. That's amazing. That's good money for a great cause. You know what I mean? Gamers doing good. But yeah, there's that.
What irritates me is, and I saw this in a forum a couple times, where they're like, "Oh, Blizzard's just only doing this to raise awareness for their own games and making money for themselves." What the realize is Blizzard doesn't need that.
No.
They're actually doing this for a legitimate cause, not out of the goodness out of their own will and heart.
Right.
And it pisses me off when people say that.
Well, and they make plenty of money as it is right now, just through their own games.
Yeah, they already announced that none of this money is going to their company, and that it's going all towards the Red Cross.
Right. So
there's that. Retards.
But on slightly different news, again, go Blizzard. Warlords of Draenor was nominated the ASCAP Composer's Choice Award for the soundtrack in this new expansion. So
nice.
That's awesome. And I'm definitely glad to see that, because they have some amazing musical composers in that game. Absolutely unreal. So, let's see.
People, and that's another funny thing. People underestimate video games for having amazing music, and then they realize, oh, wait, wow.
Well, this was my news some time ago. I think Baba Yetu, which was the main theme from Civ 4, won a Grammy.
Yeah. Yep.
And it wasn't like for a video game category. Like they legit just won a Grammy for like best composed theme music or something.
Yeah, and that's always awesome to see, honestly. Let's see. Man, I got a ton of news sitting here. Diablo starting its season 2. Actually begins today, I believe it is.
Meh.
So if you guys are into Diablo, hey, season 2, go out there, go conquer. Heroes of the Storm.
I did season 1. I'm sorry, but for me in video games, I hate restarting from scratch. When I especially already know that I've done all the hard work, and then it's like realized, oh hey, I have to go do it again.
Yeah. Well, in a game like that, yeah, there's nothing that you can really carry over, at least not a whole lot that you can carry over. But, yeah. Anyway, so one of my favorite games that I've been playing lately, Heroes of the Storm just released a new character called the Lost Vikings. Now, if you guys don't know, this is actually, I guess them paying homage to one of their very first games that they ever put out. I think it was Super Nintendo, called the Lost Vikings. And so these are 3...
Nintendo on PC or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was an interesting game. I got to play a little bit of it, but it's 3 different characters that you can control independently throughout the entire game. And so that
sounds rough.
Sounds like
I was wondering how to play it.
Almost.
Hmm?
Trine?
Yeah, kind of. It looks like... It kind of looks like that's how it would play. I haven't played them yet. They're very, very expensive using the in-game currency, or you could buy it for $9.99.
Yeah, they're like 5 or 15,000.
15,000 gold pieces to get that character, and I can't afford that. But I have seen people play it.
FYI, you can actually click on the character and try it out before you can actually purchase it.
Right, but I haven't tried them yet. They look interesting. I've watched people play them. But I don't know if they're ever going to make it into the metagame. You know, who knows? These things evolve all the time. But that's that. We got StarCraft 2. StarCraft? No?
Yes. I am. Just nobody likes to play it with me, which is not fun.
No, I don't do the PvP stuff. I'm terrible.
You don't even have to do that. You can do co-op. You can, 2v2, you versus AI and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, I heard Legacy of the Void's gonna be completely separate from StarCraft 2. Like it's a completely different game. Like you'd have to. It's not an expansion, but another game.
Well, that's crap.
Yeah.
Yep. And a lot of people are already talking about that too, saying the same thing.
I mean, I guess if it's got enough content to be a full game and it's new units and everything, then okay. But I doubt
StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm brought in new units, and it brought in, none of the units are going to change from what I understand. They're going to add a couple more, of course, and it's going to be a completely different storyline, just like Heart of the Swarm. Heart of the Swarm had just as much content as Liberty did, for campaign-wise. I don't know why they're doing this, and quite frankly, I don't need another stupid freaking game on my BattleNet thing.
But didn't they originally say this when they first released, or when they first started talking about StarCraft, how they were going to release all the new expansions completely separate of each other, and they were going to do Liberty and then I forgot the current one.
Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah. There you go, Heart of the Swarm, thank you, and then Legacy of the Void. They already announced that they were going to divide it up into 3.
Well, 3 expansions, but that's the thing. It's an expansion, but they're making it a separate, completely different game from where I actually play both campaigns within StarCraft 2 right now.
Right.
You can't do that with Legacy of the Void from what they're describing.
And that's just it. I don't know what they would really accomplish by doing that. I guess, really, I agree with you. That's crap.
So, are they doing it? My thing is, are they doing a completely different engine with this game? They haven't really said, and that's pretty. Yeah, exactly. So, if they're using the same exact engine, I don't see why they're doing it. If they're using the same exact engine, there's no point for it to be a separate game.
Money.
Yeah.
Not even, because it's going to be, from what I understand, the X-Pax price. The
maybe
the almighty dollar.
I don't know. If it's the same price as an X-Pack, then maybe they're making some changes to the engine that can't run together.
That's true. But one of the things that I was reading about it too is they're talking about slowing down the game mechanics, but then tuning up the damage to match what it would have been, which to me kind of seems counterproductive to what StarCraft's all about. I mean, the whole thing is you have that Zerg rush tactics. You have different tactics to slow down your enemies and slow down the fights. That's the whole point of the game, is control it how you want to control your armies. Don't force that down someone's throat.
Yeah, exactly. For something that they've been doing since the very beginning. They're basically going against anything that they've done, which isn't fair. They're, I've seen the difference between like Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3, and then Warcraft 3 into StarCraft 2. I've seen the differences there, where Warcraft 3 is a pretty slow-paced RTS in the essence of like StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
And if they slow it down to that, it's just going to be like, in the competitive scene, that's going to kill it. That's going to murder the competitive scene. No one wants to watch 2-hour games with two people playing, best of fives.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. It's to be honest, it's already slow enough. Where a lot of games go hour long, half an hour long, easily. And then when people gripe at me like, oh, well, you watch League of Legends? Yeah, each match can either go 15 minutes or an hour. That all depends on team-based play. That's not a single player because they want to just force the game to be longer, and their own inevitable demise.
And honestly, I've seen a lot of late matches where if it goes that late into the game, like the players kind of start running out of ideas. They don't know what to do in the late game because they're used to just ending it early or whatever. But this game, or StarCraft itself, has always kind of been, let's push it into the late game as best we can. And then that way I can start using all that late game tech to just demolish my enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and they're getting, and when they do the slower based games, it's gonna, your moves are gonna be more predictable. You're gonna be more predictable to do. They're gonna counter it with this, or they're gonna counter it with that. From if they do that, and I've seen it with plenty of games.
Yep, I agree. So that's StarCraft.
Nah.
Now, one of the interesting ones, and I had to save this kind of for last, only because I know this is going to spark. I hope this will spark a conversation. Okay, so GamerGate. Have we all heard about this?
Yes.
I think you should give a non-biased overview to start.
Well, that's not a bad idea, and I'll try to do as best I can. No. I can't tell you that I know the origins of the whole GamerGate story, but my understanding so far, this started out as a bunch of people on 4chan, go figure, but in the gaming community as a whole, started kind of going up against these, what was viewed as these feminist, feminism in the gaming world. And specifically the lack of representation with women in the gaming industry, the lack of representation of female protagonists.
Even though they don't know what they're talking about.
Gaming itself basically is very misogynistic, was kind of how this started. And then, of course, in typical internet fashion, some people decided that they were going to take this to the next level and kind of began protesting. And then, of course, protesting took over into more, I guess you could say, extremist methods, where they've been sending out death threats to certain people. They've been doxing different people's computers, so they're unable to connect to anything, really. They're completely shut down. People have been hacked, they've been swatted, you name it. Just the most extreme thing that they can.
Yeah. The internet can be the most beautiful thing on this planet, and then it can be...
And he got muted.
Oh, why am I muted?
I don't know. What'd you do?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it could be the most beautiful thing or the most ugliest thing you've ever come across, especially 4chan.
Absolutely.
4chan is a disease.
Well, here's the thing about 4chan, though. Like, most people who think about 4chan, they are thinking about or have heard about /B. And that's
and B is
like
kind of...
It's a very different community than some other parts of it. There's like a There's a video games part that's pretty cool. There's like I don't go to it because I have a hard time following it, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of interesting parts of it where there's like people who actually care about each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but 4chan's one extreme or another. There's no in between for it.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and I've talked about 4chan, in a previous podcast too. That it's as long as you stay out of B, the website is really legit. It's a cool place to go and hang out, and there's some really legitimate stuff in there. It's not just gaming though. They got music, they've got wallpaper threads, they've got origami threads of all things. It's something for everyone. But some of these activists, if you will, I don't know what to call them.
what, on 4chan or GamerGate?
Well, GamerGate. They hid themselves on 4chan. Well, I can't say hid themselves, but that was kind of their meeting place for a while. Well, then 4chan, the leader of 4chan, decided that was inappropriate and he did not condone any of the stuff that's been going on. And he forced them out, banned accounts, and got rid of all the sub threads and all that stuff that was going on. Well, GamerGate then found another outlet. I'm a little hesitant to bring up the website because the website isn't the best. It's not the most reputable, but the majority of them migrated over to 8chan. Okay, now 8chan, if you don't know about it, I wouldn't go there, simply because it's become kind of the cesspool of the internet.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't it like the worst place to ever visit?
It really is. There's a lot of pedophilia stuff going on there. There's a lot of gore threads going on there. It's the worst of the worst.
Yeah, it's like 4chan but times 10, which is saying something.
Right, it really is.
It's
but
like
the leader
9/11 times 1,000.
Exactly. The leader of 8chan basically said, hey, I started this website as completely free. You guys can come in and speak your mind, right? First Amendment, all right, all day. So that's kind of how they migrated over there. Now, I'm trying to keep this as neutral as I can, so we'll leave it at that. But Gamergate, one of the people who's been protested and had death threats and all this stuff, actually started speaking up and trying to voice what's going on. And she goes by the name of Brianna Wu, W-U, and she's been putting out the death threats that she's been getting. She's very vocal, trying to get law enforcement to basically, how do you put it, enforce the laws that she feels she's being assaulted or
she is, and to be fair, she is, and those are laws. But the problem is that the laws have not caught up to the internet because the internet is ever evolving, and people are just lazy, and there's just miles and miles of red tape around it. So we also
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say she is right in that fact that they need to be hunted down because they're making terroristic threats. They're making threats against her life. That is prosecutable through laws of action, where those people can actually be arrested for doing that.
You would hope, but haven't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I literally go up to your house and go, "I'm going to murder you," you can call the cops and I get arrested for threatening you. And I can say it on the internet, and it's a little bit harder. You know who I am now, but
Yeah.
The difference is that they're anonymous, posting through different IPs, making fake IPs, saying, and posting this stuff, and emailing her. I don't, to be honest, I don't agree with GamersGate. I don't like their ideas as a whole.
Right.
I understand why they do it, but I don't care. But but on the other end of that stick, they shouldn't be threatened with their lives. They shouldn't be, fearing for their lives because someone doesn't agree with them on that aspect. No, they're not being civil. Sorry.
Here's my understanding of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So part of this started. There's two besides this Brianna Wu. There's also Anna Sarkarsian and Zoe Quinn.
Right.
And they're women in the gaming industry. And Zoe Quinn made a game. I think it was Zoe Quinn made a game called Depression Quest, which is like a a text-based game that was supposed to be based on her experience with depression or whatever, and it got a positive review from this guy. Or no, sorry, this guy who apparently she was like having an affair with him, or he was an affair with her, or something, and he didn't review her game, but people said that like I may have the facts wrong. I'll have to look back at it, but basically there's accusations about impropriety that like because he was dating her, he was giving her reviews, and it was like basically corruption in the gaming review world. But like he never reviewed her stuff, and he only had mentioned one thing about her, and it was before they were even dating. So that was like part of it, and people were saying it's about being it's about not being corrupted in the gaming industry. There was also a Kickstarter that was funded and has, as of yet, as far as I know, hasn't been completed by the due date. So I think that is also, some people are saying that that's part of the reason why they're upset, these women, is that she basically stole their money. Again, though these are not reasons why you'd be doxing someone, why you'd be making death threats, why you'd be doing any of these terrible things. But I do think, and I think that the people that are in this GamerGate thing, there are some people who are legitimately concerned about corruption in gaming and stuff, and I think that it does happen in some cases, but I think that the overall problem is there's a lot of people that are just doing it because they like being internet trolls.
Oh, sure. I absolutely agree.
They're getting involved because it's easy targets, and there's wrongs that have been committed on both sides, but I think that the people that are basically ruining other people's lives are probably the ones doing the most wrong.
Right. Oh, yeah. I agree 100%.
And that's coming, and that's both on 4chan and anywhere else on the internet, in GamerGate, and at the end of it, just don't be a dick to each other. That's just the end all story.
Right, but that's
Wheaton's law.
Yeah.
Named after Will Wheaton himself.
It really is.
The law. There's only one rule, and it's don't be a dick.
Yeah. I mean,
and I'm backed very behind that saying.
I mean, the man really did nail it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
this very easy.
This article was on bustle.com, bustle.com. If you go in there, you can look it up. You can search for GamerGate or Brianna Wu, and it's a very interesting article. A lot of the comments, I was after I read the article, I was going through the comments, and unfortunately,
that's a really bad idea.
Yeah, trolls are going to be trolls, but it actually got me thinking. One of the topics that constantly kept coming up that seems to be omnipresent throughout the whole GamerGate thing is the idea of one opinion being right over another opinion, and that got me to think about this whole GamerGate thing. And I really had to wonder, how much of what we're actually hearing is neutral, or as neutral as you can get it, because a lot of people are either siding with the male viewpoint of this, and then other people are siding with the female view of this. Other people are siding with, the First Amendment rights, and I don't know. Take it with what you guys will, but I think as a whole,
it should.
We all agree, just don't be a dick to people. You know what I mean? Don't attack people because your viewpoint differs. That's really all it is.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, in real life, if I would have probably come across Penth, without WoW or anything like that, I don't know if we would be friends or not. Just, I know our viewpoints are pretty different, and I act like a jackass all the time, so.
Well, Penth is kind of a dick, so.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really, I get nothing. I have you queued up on my camera. I was hoping for some reaction. I got nothing.
A terrible person.
I know.
I'm trying to figure out why. It usually, for me, on Hangouts, it switches between who's talking at the time, and for some reason, it's not doing that for me right now.
Because you clicked on someone.
Click on the active.
Yeah, but I can't.
It'll.
I know, but I can't. It stays on veg. It doesn't ever go to you.
Oh, I don't know. See, I switched manually.
Not awesome.
I'd rather look at you than veg anyway.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means
But
a lot.
but no, it's just at the end of the day, like I said, the internet can be really awesome, or it could be the ugliest thing you've ever come across.
I agree. I agree. You got
You
to be
know, it's
careful
just
in the groups you hang out with, basically.
yeah, that is true. Oh no, just
You know, that
I've
goes
seen
with it.
some
You know.
threads even off 4chan that make you want to gouge your eyes out.
Yup. So anyway, that's that. So, Veg, since I got you queued up here on the camera, why don't we talk about one thing that I know you are very big in, and then our lost co-host Ron Klee is very big on. What's going on with League of Legends this
Fun
week?
things.
Time for me to go get a beer.
All
Well,
right.
do you mean LCS wise, or do you mean just or just
General,
League of
man.
Legends in general?
We are doing the League of Legends esports, so we'll have some updates for that. But just in general, man, what's going on? What do we
Lots of
got?
fun. Unfortunately, I missed a lot of the EU because I was working, but the NA games were pretty interesting. I just wasn't expecting any of my teams to do well today. um,
Now, who do you have picked? Who are your esport teams?
well, my team is Team Liquid, which did phenomenal today. My entire cast is Dyrus, Helios, Froggen, Steelyback, and two other people, Shook and Nymph.
Froggen's
Yeah,
really good. That was a good pick.
not today or
No?
yesterday. Yeah, he
Damn.
gave me 11
Froggen, what are you
points.
doing, brother?
11 points.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close between me and Ron.
Now,
Anyway,
I did hear that there's a new patch that's live,
yes,
right?
it's 5.3. That's
Okay.
out. It nerfs some people, buffs some people, of course. You know how patches are.
Pretty typical patch, yeah.
But it also brought out this week the the Nemesis draft, which is pretty awesome.
Which I was reading. It sounds pretty evil, but it sounds like a lot of fun. So,
Oh, it is. It's basically the enemy in draft mode gets to pick who you're going to play as.
hmm
Since it's draft mode, you get to pick. You get to ban 3 people, and they get to ban 3 people. But the difference is they pick who you're going to play. So, for example, about 100% so far that I played, Urgot's been banned because of Urgot and Teemo. You know, those two trolling
right.
champions. So it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. I definitely suggest playing with friends because they're going to give you comps that are almost impossible to play together well. So you're going
Really.
to have to yes,
That's
like for
awesome.
so for one game, our entire team was nothing but tanks, basically, except for one support. And then the
Brilliant.
next one was we were nothing but supports and one AP, and we somehow
Brilliant.
won all of them. But it's a lot of fun. I definitely suggest playing it with I definitely suggest you playing it. And
Yeah. I'll
Pans,
get in there.
who doesn't play it, but I still suggest it to anybody who enjoys fun
I've
times. And
played it a few times. It's just, I just, I don't know. I don't have time to get good at it.
Yeah, and
yeah,
MOBAs are very much a practice game. You know,
yeah.
you get
So
better.
I love the fact when people get mad at other people, like, why don't you play this game all the time? It's like, well, I have a life. Yeah. that's
You
that's
know,
the thing.
it's funny you bring that up because I saw the best quote ever in regards to gaming, and that was, "It's not that I don't have a life; it's that I choose to have many."
Yes.
That
Yeah,
was
I
just
like that.
brilliant to me. I love that. As soon as I saw that, I'm remembering that.
Yeah. It's
Anyway,
and we always talk about the LCS or League of Legends, and it's not
yeah,
for everybody. I'm not going to sit here and
no,
say, oh, yes, it is. It's not. The same way I say World of Warcraft's not for everybody, or that StarCraft 2 is not for everybody, or racing games in general, because no one ever plays those. But
yeah,
I know your reasonings, and we tried that last night, and it was hilarious.
yeah, it was bad.
But it's whatever you like. That's why I like the gaming community because there's multiple things you can play and dabble into,
Yep,
and and League of
and
Legends is and
that's why
League
we're
of
here. We used to be a primarily WoW related podcast, but you know what? We realize that there's too many people out there that play too many different things, and what we play doesn't have to be your game. Screw it. But that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about the games. That's why we want you guys to come in, be a part of our group, be a part of the family.
I just want to
Oh,
give you puzzle games.
I love puzzle games, dude. You could do that all day.
Wait, no, which games was it besides racing you hated?
Fighting games. Oh, fighting and sports games. Like
Okay,
okay,
we should
so
give you 50. We should give you FIFA 15 then.
during the last 6 months that I was gone, the only game that I had available besides my little handheld shit was Madden, right? And I got to tell you, I am the worst Madden player on the face of this planet. Like I would pick a maneuver. First of all, I'm not even really big into sports, so I can't even play like I know what I'm talking about. But
Field
I'm
goal.
gonna
I
try.
mean, touch. I mean,
Yeah,
come
so
on.
I'm still gonna try to act like I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we would play Madden, and I would be like, all right, we're gonna fucking throw the ball, right? And I get ready, and I hike the ball, and I get back and blitz. I'm down, and the whole game went on like this. Or they would freaking intercept the ball, and next thing I know, it would be like 47 to I don't know 7 would if I was doing really good. So I hate sports games, and then fighting games I'm just notoriously bad at anyway. I'm a button masher,
Button
Yep.
mashing.
but
But coming back to the LCS, it's a lot of fun to watch. If you want to really get into it, I do suggest watching some of it, just for the simple fact, what farm is, how to, see how they last hit, see, that
creep
they're very
score,
creep score, team based, and you see the team based strategy and how they set it up, or how they fail miserably at doing it.
right?
Or where they throw and what goes wrong. I showed my little brother this, and he's been watching it occasionally. I force him to watch it when he says he
Right.
wants to watch. When someone says, "Oh, I want to watch it," and they don't, and it's like, "Well, now you're going to watch it." So
Yep.
he's actually been learning a bit. He still sucks, but he's starting to understand the last hitting concept. He's starting to understand that you just can't always go straight for the kills.
Right.
Even though as much as you
I heard,
want to.
Heroes of the Storm doesn't have a last hit, which I think is good.
Heroes
'cause I
does
think
not, and I think that's why I really enjoy playing that game.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It doesn't. For some characters like Asmodan, it actually gives them a benefit for killing
Right.
people because it depends on if he picks it or not. Because for his Q, when he lobs the ball and lobs that giant fireball and kills somebody or anybody and a minion, it gives him more damage. So it's
Right. He gains a buff to that ability.
Yeah, that's about it.
Honestly, I would really recommend getting into it. I love Heroes of the Storm. I play it, at least an hour a day, honestly.
My
and
thing
I
is,
like it because it's.
Sorry.
I don't want to say it's simpler than League of Legends, but it's a bit more beginner friendly to.
It's like
playing
Smite. It's more that cliff isn't as high as League or Dota
Right.
2 or Heroes of the New Earth. But at the same time, I don't know why, but I feel like it's lacking something. Like there's a giant void in it, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm enjoying
I
it.
think that's just because you started with League of Legends. I know a lot of people who play Dota, and they say Dota is just it's miles above League of Legends and better than what it could ever be.
No,
and I think
they're on par with each other. They're at that point they're just being fanboys.
Well, I mean, you never know. Like I said, you're kind of biased towards League, so.
Not
I
even.
don't know
I
enough
love Dota
about
2. I love playing Dota 2. It's not that I'm biased against either game. It's just they're both on par with each other. They're both very difficult. The only difference is Dota 2 you have to be more team based, or you're going to lose the game. But like I said, League of Legends, I don't know what it is. It's like they are missing something. They're lacking something from that game, and I can't explain what it is.
Right. No, Heroes is awesome though. I would recommend getting into it if you can. I talked about this last week, but you can get into the beta right now if you grab the what do I call it? The Founders Pack.
$40.
You pay the monies.
Right, to get into the beta. But with Blizzard, a lot of times whenever you get into a beta, they'll roll you back once the actual game goes live. With this, they're not. Once you get into the beta, whatever you have will carry through into the live. And that's kind of their incentive for doing this. And like I said, honestly, I think it's kind of worth it. I really enjoy playing it.
I just love reading the comments like, "Oh, Blizzard's selling out. Blizzard's, they're just there for the money." And people are idiots. It's like, what do you think a company's there for, you moron?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You make the games that people want to play.
Why aren't they
I mean,
really,
they could have
bitching about
easily
the
said that with
subscription?
Hearthstone, and in fact, I'm positive that they have said that about Hearthstone.
Oh, they have. They're
Oh my
like, oh, it's
God.
pay. They're like, oh, it's pay to win.
Hearth.
No,
Hearthstone?
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone? Am I saying it
Hearthstone.
right?
Hearth,
Hearthstone?
Hearth,
Hearthstone. Got it.
Hearth.
Okay.
Douche nozzle.
That's what I'm here for.
Anywho, now
Anyway.
people are going to complain about someone's success one way or another.
Oh yeah.
It's just that kind of. That's just how, like I said, the internet is.
Yeah, afraid so.
I
Welcome
don't
to the
like you
internet.
because you make too much money and I don't have any of it. I'm pretty sure if they were making the money, they wouldn't be bitching.
No. Oh, God, no. I wouldn't. Screw it.
It's kind of like
I have too much money. I better give it to some schmuck on the internet.
Right?
I will give you
Yeah.
my 1.5 billion industry.
That's one thing that kills me. We stream this on Twitch and we're streaming this on YouTube and stuff. And don't get me wrong, like it would be amazing for us to pick up partnership and to be able to monetize somehow our podcast. But we don't do it for that reason. But if we did, like I'm not going to complain about that. You can accuse me of selling out all day. It's not going to stop what we do.
So please sell out.
Yeah. I mean,
We sold
I
out
would
before
love
we even
to make-
started.
pretty much. Let's be real. But all
Wait,
right.
if there was selling involved, I wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure
you'd be
as hell haven't
rich.
seen it, and I'm the one
Not,
who
not
came
only
up
in
with the idea.
not only in WoW, but in real life, you'd be rich too. It's like, yay, I win.
Yeah. God, I wish. All right. So we're coming up to our next segment. Now, for this one, I don't have a name for this yet. So we're just going to call this, "What the hell have you been doing in the game?" What game are you
too
asking?
long and annoying.
It is a little long. I don't know. We'll come up with something. Screw it. But this is all about what we've been playing, what we have been able to accomplish in our games, or what's particularly interesting going on in at least in our world, and maybe we can convince you guys, our viewers and listeners, to try it out. Hell, join us in one of the games. Screw it, I'm down. That's just me.
Join me in showing GTA 5 and we can run over hookers together.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's definitely my game. That's what I've been playing the most out of. I've been playing the crap out of Grand Theft Auto. I bring this up on different podcasts we've done in the past. I love this game. GTA 5 is awesome. I even have it on pre-reserve for the PC once that comes out. So if you guys are on PS4...
Is it going to be different?
What's that?
They're going to have
different.
It's going to have even more graphics, and they're going to be, from what I've been understanding, they're going to be releasing Heist with the PC version. So not only with that, but they're going to have like the highest definition or the highest settings. Like it's 4K compatible.
To really answer your question, no, it's really not all that different. It's
killing wise and explosion wise, graphics wise, yes. Everything else, no. You're just murdering people.
Right.
And running them over. And
fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. It's probably going to be the exact same game. But I'm kind of a fanboy. I love Grand Theft Auto. But I've been playing the crap out of that. Now, tonight, once we're done with the stream, I've actually picked up Evolve, which I'm looking forward to getting into, because I've been hearing nothing about great things. I've been watching a lot of people play it.
Joe?
What?
Can you get me it? I want it.
I'm not that rich, you crazy bastard. I wish I had that much money. I could just hand shit out.
Isn't it like 60
That's what I've been playing. So, but yeah, if you guys want in, like I said, I'm on PS4. You guys can hit me up anytime. Crap, I don't even remember my game name. Was it Dark Nothing, if I remember?
Dark Nothing.
Yeah. So send me an invite, whatever you guys want to do. I'll be happy to send you guys a friend request. We'll get this game going, definitely. So that's what I've been playing. Now, Veg, how about you, sir?
Not only have I been playing GTA 5, but I've been playing, I actually just beat the co-op version of Portal 2, which was awesome.
Awesome.
Last night. I've been trying to do it with someone for a while now because no one apparently either owns it or has the time for it. But I got another friend who does, who plays a lot of video games with me.
Thank you. Talking to my wife. My wife's awesome. She just brought me.
No, she's not the fail. You're the fail.
No, I said she's awesome. I didn't say she fails.
No, I know she doesn't fail. You fail.
I do fail.
But yeah.
No,
If you've never played Portal or Portal 2, I've said this a couple podcasts. Get it? It's worth every penny. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of pop culture references in it.
What is
Ironically,
it, under 15 now?
Portal
Under
2,
15 bucks?
Altogether it's like
You
25.
can get it for $5 during sales. You can get it for like $5.
Yeah, they pretty much put that on sale almost like every month at one point.
There's a reason.
But yeah.
Anyway.
It's just so much fun. It's also frustrating if you're bad at puzzle games. It actually makes you like the co-op version actually makes you think, because not only are you messing with your portals, but you're also having to help get the other person to help you, finish the puzzles.
Right, and if you're at all familiar with Portal, the game comes with 2 different portals, right? 2 different colors. I'm colorblind, so it's whatever. Left and right mouse button. I'm not that colorblind. But anyway, but yeah, in the co-op, there's now 4 different colors, which you guys have to be able to manipulate, which makes it interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, funny enough, he kept the person I kept playing with last night kept saying, oh, this is impossible. This is impossible. We beat it in like 2.5 hours. Yeah. Which is actually saying something about it. Not saying that it's bad or anything, but we got the puzzles pretty quickly. But I wanted to start diving into the created puzzles because
That's how I've been playing.
Yeah, I played a couple of them, and holy crap, they're not easy.
Some of those are really difficult, and they're really well designed too.
And
it's not like I'm going to be an asshole and design an impossible puzzle. These are like really well thought out puzzles that are just legitimately hard.
Funny enough, there's actually a YouTuber who did that. He goes, he said that on his own podcast. He's like, oh, hey, I made an impossible, Portal level, and then he actually had to go out and do it, and then did it. And it's still on there too. You can't finish it because you need a cube to put on the thing to walk through, and right at the front of it, there's no way of getting around it because there's no portal spots or anything like that. It's just the disintegrator and portal remover thing.
Yep.
So there's as much as you want to, you can't. So it's a lot of fun. It's time consuming for the most part.
Very.
And if you just don't like puzzles, just play for GLaDOS. Just be a test subject.
Actually, I wouldn't even say GLaDOS more than Cave Johnson. If you play Portal for no other reason, you should just do it for Cave Johnson.
We're done here.
We're done.
Robots gave us 1 extra second of what the hell is it called? Cooperation. Of cooperation. Good job, robots.
All right, moving on. What are you playing, sir?
I'm playing WoW right now.
That works.
What
are you doing?
I am doing my Garrison weekly because what actually happened was I was in the middle of a Garrison weekly and didn't realize it. So I was like, everyone's talking about these Garrison missions and I haven't gotten one. So I actually put in a ticket and they're like, yeah, you're on a Garrison weekly right now. And they told me what quest it was, and they've actually changed it so that now all the Garrison weeklies actually say Garrison weekly, like they specifically are labeled Garrison mission, so
Congratulations.
that removes any confusion about.
I'm a completionist, so I know which ones are mine.
I'm just happy that you personally had something added to the game for you. That's amazing.
No, they do it for everybody.
Just been playing WoW lately. Haven't had much time to play anything else, and I've been leveling some alts. So that's been fun.
That's always good though. Hey, on that news though, I did just get my Garrison to level 3. That was a freaking feat. Jeez, took me forever to do that one. But yeah, now I have like no resources, and I have all these open spots to put stuff in. So screw it.
So one way to pretty quickly get resources, other than having a lumber mill, which uses up a spot you might want to use for other things.
Nope, I have a lumber mill. That's amazing.
If you get followers that have it's like scavenger trait. I think
scavenger. Yeah.
I don't think I have
it doubles the amount of resources that you get when you do a resource follower mission.
Yeah.
And that stacks. So if you get 2 of them that have it, you get not 3 times, you get 4 times.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've
So you
actually
can get
gotten
like
almost 2,000 resources from a mission.
yeah, I got 1,001 from mission.
That's amazing.
So,
I need to go find these people, like now.
do you have
If you have an in, oh sorry, Dan.
Oh, I don't have an
Yeah,
in.
if you have an in, you can recruit
Yeah.
specific traits.
That's what I was gonna build as
That's-
one of my new spots.
Yeah, I'm about to go build an in myself again. Get rid of my lumber mill.
I love the lumber mill. That one's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I hope in like further patches, like further down the road, they actually add more buildings to the game.
Yeah, that would.
I think they might. There's areas in the garrison that look like they're still under construction. So I hope that like by the end of the X pack, they've added more areas.
So
Yeah,
like
they
by
very
the
well
end of it,
could.
your garrison's like a super fortress of death and awesomeness.
Well, hopefully. I
Yeah,
mean, that was
exactly.
kind of the point, is to kind of build that stuff
I
up.
do kind of wish, like you end up spending all your time alone in your garrison.
Right.
Like one thing that I thought that D&D Online did really well was they have a like your guild can buy an airship and it's your guild base. So like anybody in the guild can visit the airships. That'd be cool if like you had a guild garrison.
Oh,
That
that'd
would
be
be cool.
awesome.
Yeah. That's like the housing, though. I think the garrison is Blizzard's way of responding to the player housing that they once promised
absolutely.
way back. You know what I mean? That was kind of their response, but that's just me. All right. Finally, we got one more segment for you guys. And I know we're running just a little bit over our 1 hour mark, but that's okay, because we also kind of started a little bit later than we normally do. Well, actually, we started earlier, but yeah, later. Anyway,
that doesn't matter for all of our awesome listeners who listen to the podcast over and over
really
again
doesn't.
all the time.
And by the way, thank you guys very much for tuning in. So we have one more thing, and that is our 6 gaming roundtable discussion, right? So each week we're going to bring up a topic and then figure out where everybody sits with this topic. So I wanted to kick things off with one that is kind of a debate between me and one of our other hosts, and that's why Diablo 3 has died for me personally. Diablo 3 is dead, honestly.
I'm not
don't
you. I don't
see
know.
them. Hmm?
I'm not you. How am I supposed to know?
Yeah, I know. Jerk.
Well, it's dead for me.
Sure.
And our chat's actually chiming in. He says no, Diablo's not dead. No,
Oh.
Diablo's dead, man. And here's why.
Your face
And again,
is dead.
this is my opinion, but I want you guys' take. So Diablo is like a click around hack and slash kind of a game, right? You click to move,
I
you
will
go
agree
in,
to
you fight a
that.
bunch of shit, you pick up a bunch of loot, you move on to the next area. That's all it is
You
for me.
essentially just like almost announced or not announced.
I was like, wow.
It sounds like almost every game out there.
Okay,
Oh, there's a
okay,
mission. Go kill it.
I will admit I'm oversimplifying quite a bit, but it's just there's not a lot of excitement in the game for me. It was a lot of fun getting through the story, and that's why I played it, was for the story more than the actual gameplay and the mechanics and the different things to do in the game. I wanted it for the amazing story, and the first 2 games delivered that brilliantly. Now, admittedly, I'm not big into the PvP stuff that they've implemented. But I was really happy to see them open up the rifts and do the new content, the new tier type stuff. And then that kind of got old for me. And then finally they said, you know what, we're going to do seasons so that we can keep this whole game fresh. Excuse me, and to me that's not, you're not keeping it fresh. You're trying to rehash something that has been done 100 times again and again and again. So honestly,
my thing is they
Yeah,
need
I'll be
Diablo's
back in a
dead.
second.
what they honestly need to put into it to actually, I understand where you're coming from. It's stale.
yeah, it's very stale, and that to me has killed it.
It is
again,
fun when
for
you play
me,
with
it's
people
dead.
and you can dick around, in a couple hours doing it. I can understand why people like it. It is a lot of fun, but don't get me wrong. But what I think, honestly, what would really bring a lot more people to it, and I
Right.
mean a lot more people than what's currently on there, would be, user-generated content, like they did in Diablo 2.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You know, Cole's Gaming in our chat says, well, there's your first problem. The story was horrid. The story was not horrid, sir. The story was kind of enthralling, if you got into the characters, at least.
Well, the thing is that Diablo 3 kind of leaves off from a book. If you haven't read the book,
Right.
then you really don't know what's going on. And, you know, in all honesty, if you don't know what's going on, because they kind of leave you hanging off of Diablo 2. And then you go right into this, and you're like, what the hell's going on? You don't know.
Right.
You know, and you do pick it up like, oh, hey, demons are a bunch of dicks. We got to go kill them. That's essentially what you get.
Right. I mean, that's one way of putting it.
And
my cat threw up, so I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, lovely.
Cat Gack. But that's what we should name our second segment, Cat Gack.
Cat Yak.
Yakety Yak. But no, I do agree with you on a certain extent. It's not dead, but it's very stale.
Right, but I don't see them continuing this like they would StarCraft or Heroes of the Storm or, hell, World of Warcraft. Been going on for over 10 years, you know? Like, how do you continue Diablo 3 in what has been forced upon people, this multiplayer aspect? You have to be at least dialed into the internet in order to play the game.
Only on PC.
That's too much.
Only on PC.
Okay, only on PC, but let's be real. Where did the game first come out?
Exactly.
Only on PC.
Yeah.
How was it introduced as a PC game?
Right.
I'm sorry, it's
their attempt on DRM and it failed.
Say what?
It's their attempt on DRM and it failed. I don't know why companies think that DRM is such a good idea. It is stupid.
Okay, yes, but on the flip side of the coin, the DRM is their way of protecting their content. Their very hard work that they put into this.
Not really, because people can go in and still screw with it. They can still take it offline, and they can still make it.
It's not going to happen, but it's their way to help protect what they already have.
But it's not protecting anybody. It's not even protecting them, because people who are going to do what they're trying to stop it from are doing it regardless.
Well, this is true. Now, you would remember back when CDs and MP3s were still doing their transition thing, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of CDs were coming out where you could not put them in a computer and the computer wouldn't recognize it. They actually had their own form of DRM on these to prevent the copyright infringement.
It actually blue screened one of my computers, actually.
Right, from doing that. And that was obviously a problem, but that music still got leaked. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're absolutely right. People are going to do what they're going to do.
And that's the thing. Like it's against piracy, and it's not going to work.
Right.
Like you're trying to stop someone who has so much time on their hands. They're going to dick with this thing until they get it. Like that's what companies don't understand. Like people have, they just think, oh, they don't have this much time. Yes, they do. They have this much time, and they have that much resources that they will hack any game. They will screw with anything they want, and they will get it. That's right. What. And it's just a small majority. It's kind of like being punished for, one kid kicking another kid in PE class, and everybody has to sit because everybody's being punished for, that stupid little bastard who's over there kicking little Danny over there, going, "Oh hey, I'm a little twat, wham, Danny, you're gonna get hurt." But now everybody's gonna get in trouble because I'm an asshole. That's how I think of DRM.
I certainly tend to agree with you as a big proponent of the internet and shareware and all that stuff. But that's kind of my whole thing too. Is I kind of miss the old days of shareware. You know what I mean? Where you could try stuff and then decide to purchase it. But
like Monster Bash.
What's that?
You ever play Monster Bash?
I did not.
It was a shareware game.
When I brought up shareware, man, I think back to what was it? Wacky Wheels, Jazzy Jackrabbit, Hocus Pocus, all those old DOS-based games. Those were brilliant. But that's just me. But that's what DRM kind of has become, is their way to protect games, really. And I understand the companies, I guess need for a way to protect their stuff.
Sorry, we got talking about DRM, I assume.
Yeah, we got onto DRM.
That's the subject of debate. So
yeah, Diablo's gone.
So if you make a great game, people will buy it. And they've actually shown that people who pirate games and music and movies, like any kind of media, people who pirate it end up consuming and buying. They spend more on that media overall. because what you do is like you try out a game basically, and if you like it, you buy it. You support and if you because a lot of companies don't put out demos anymore. Like it used to be like in the 90s, if you wanted to try out a game, you played a demo and you either got like a level of the game or in some cases like in Half-Life, they put out a thing called Uplink, which was like a whole mini game that was in the Half-Life engine, but it was not actual levels out of the game.
Yeah.
And it lets you know how the game played. So if that existed today, I think people would do it. But now people are like, well, I want to know how the game plays. So they download the game and they play it. And if they like it, then they go back and buy it. But a lot of companies were like, oh, that was a lost sale because they saw an illegal download.
Right. Well, and I got two things to that. One, I definitely agree with you because I've always been huge on, more freely accessible music, I guess you could say. Because my thing was, if I really like a band, okay, let's just say, for example, I downloaded Metallica. Okay, never heard them before. I download Metallica, and I really enjoyed
You've never heard Metallica before?
No, yeah, freaking trolls. But if I really enjoyed it, I am that much more likely to go to one of their concerts. Now, how am I going to see their concert if I don't buy a ticket? Or get their new album when it comes out. Like you said, I do think that it does kind of help.
Shut up, Dan.
But that's just me. I've always been, a huge supporter of that. One or two songs freely available, whatever. If that's what people like, then yeah, they'll buy your stuff.
Well, to that point, I mean, Spotify. What I've found is that so when I was in high school, before Steam, basically.
Right.
I would pirate a bunch of games. Like I have no problem saying that because I haven't done it in years. Like when you make media cheap and easy to get, people will stop doing it illegally. Like you have Netflix. Like people used to download movies all the time. Like I don't download movies anymore because I can pay $7 a month and have unlimited movies. Now it's not all the newest movies, but it's
enough to make you content.
Yeah, plenty to make me content, and it's super easy. I can watch on any device. Spotify,
I agree 100%.
I don't download music anymore because I can pay like $10 a month and get unlimited any music that I ever want. And I actually paid. I got a special offer. It was like $1 for 3 months.
Yeah,
I don't.
The only thing with that though, they dick over their existing customers with that.
See, I don't even know why I just now got into Spotify, but I've been into that for like the last 4 or 5 weeks now, and it's amazing. I don't know why the hell I bought music.
Even though I keep telling you about it, and you're like, oh, I don't know, I like Pandora. I think I'm going to stick with that for now.
I was on Slacker, right? And the beautiful thing about Slacker was I could always very easily discover new stuff through their radio stations. Like, I didn't have to design it, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But Spotify's
well,
amazing.
And the other thing is I have a Samsung Galaxy S4, and I think it's either Samsung or it's T-Mobile. I don't remember which one it is, but Milk Music. I think it's Samsung. Milk Music is a app that's sort of like Pandora, but it's got way more stations and less commercials, and it's free. And T-Mobile streams it on 4G LTE, no matter how much data you have. So like you can be out of your monthly data, and they'll still stream it at full speed.
That's awesome.
So like, and then Steam. I mean, like my thing used to be I used to seal games and play them. Now I buy games and don't play them. Like that's how easy and how cheap games are.
Do you have any games
I'm
you
willing
don't
to
have,
buy games?
or is there any games you haven't played yet that you don't want? I'll take them.
No, I don't. Well, they're all in my inventory. Like they're all.
You can
I
gift
can't
them.
trade them. You can't gift them if you've already put it in your inventory.
Damn it, Panth.
Sorry, in your library. If it's in your inventory, you can trade it, but if it's in your library, you can't. Anyway, like I'll be like, oh, such a game, some game that I kind of want to play one day is $5. I should buy it. That's like a hamburger.
Yeah, I'll try it one of these days.
2 years later, I still haven't played it, and I'll go back eventually, but it was $5, whatever.
I have several of those that fit that category.
Hopefully you don't do that with burgers, though, because, oh, hey, I don't want this burger today, but it is pretty cheap. 2 years later, I want to go eat that burger now.
No.
It's all moldy and,
There's consumable content, and then there's, everlasting content, I guess. My thing, though, like with a lot of that stuff, was lifespan. Okay, so let's say right now that Steam goes under, and this has always been one of my concerns. Steam goes bankrupt for reason X, Y, and Z. All of this money that I've pumped into it now, I lose access to my games. Like, I no longer have a way to get in there.
But
I'm
that's
not saying-
true of all the time and money that you put into WoW.
Right.
And in fact, I would imagine that the amount of time and money that you put into WoW far exceeds whatever you put into Steam.
Oh, I agree. And that was kind of where I was going with it, is that used to be my whole thing. You know, why would I buy digital media off of Steam? That is stupid as hell, because as soon as they go under, I lose all my games. But, you know, now you see it, and it's you know, yeah, it's taken off, it's proven itself, but it's still, you know, you still put forth that work and that effort, and it's still worth your money, it's still worth your time, and I'd say do it. But that has nothing to do with DRM or Diablo or anything.
I think I don't care. I think that's I like where this podcast is going, where we talk about what we want to talk about,
Just
and wherever
whatever.
we get, it's where we go.
Hell yeah. We'll
And
end it.
anybody who listens to this episode 1 of Volume 2, let us know what you think, because we've kind of gone off the rails a little bit, but I've heard that that's what people like. And if you listen to like the Rooster Teeth podcast, or the Painkiller Already, or like any of the other popular Nerdist, like any of the popular kind of like geek life game type things, there's kind of that way. They have on a guest or two, maybe hanging out, and they just talk about whatever they feel like talking about. And so I think that if we kind of head in that direction, I think we're going to be doing the right thing.
And that's kind of what we're shooting for. I mean, certainly. We used to be very, very structured. Like, we would have very specific segments, and we're kind of still there. But at the same time, it's stuff that we
they're
want
not really
to talk about.
they're not really, you know, structured the same. They're more like guidelines. Like, you know,
it's stuff that we want to talk about, and that we want to talk about with you guys in our chat. Again, I brought up one of our guys in chat right now, and I always have my chat open, so I can see you guys in Twitch.
It's kind of like different ways to eat pie, you know. You're going to eat the pie, but are you going to eat it with your hands, or are you going to eat it with your face, or are you going to just eat it with a fork? We don't know.
Cole just absorbs it through his skin.
No, he absorbs other things through his skin.
And
his face, primarily his face.
I don't know what that means, but
you don't want to know, do you?
Veg.
Oh, sorry, I meant to say veg.
I don't know what to say.
Now I understand. Okay, moving on.
Pence
Well,
like,
actually, that's
like what? Pence like, why is he burning himself?
So that's all I have for this week. What do you guys say? Anything else?
Oh yes. I don't know if we brought this up last week, but there is such thing as internet neutrality.
Internet neutrality.
Thank you. Yes.
Net neutrality.
Yes.
There you go.
It is a thing.
Supposed to be a thing.
Well, it is. They actually
it should be a thing.
Well, it is.
Right.
No, it legitimately is a thing now in Congress. Because
FTC passed Title II, or was going to pass Title II, or
it did pass.
I don't remember.
Did it finally?
It did pass.
Okay. Well, there's that then.
That's
Hey.
good.
So I don't know if you guys said that last week or not. It doesn't sound like it.
Nope.
But I wanted to bring that up in the news because I've been saving that for a couple weeks. Unfortunately, I've been at work and I keep missing the news segment. But it is what it is.
That's all right.
But I wanted to bring that.
You know?
Yeah, life sucks sometimes, but you know.
Mister, I gotta go clean up cat puke. I mean, life happens. There's nothing we can do.
So Panth, you gave me the name for the second segment.
Uh-oh.
What's the second segment? The
So, hey, big debut.
Called Cat Gack. It has to be.
Cat yak.
No, not yak. Gack. G-A-C-K.
That's not much better. Yeah, I don't know. And that look on your face pretty much says it all.
I guess my thing that I can say is that I've actually started streaming, mostly just playing WoW.
Woohoo!
As much as I'd love to stream, I have a data cap.
So
I do as well, but I haven't ever reached it. It's like 300 gigs or something a month, and
Oh wow.
Well,
so far
how many people in your house though, Penth?
2 plus a nanny sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my wife, my sister-in-law, and then her kid, and then you got me, and we all play Netflix, and we all play video games and stuff like that. So yeah, it destroys
Gotcha.
it. Yeah, it just that's the difference, unfortunately. And I
All
have
right,
a 350, and I've hit that. But yeah, streaming is awesome.
So since you brought that up, though, let's go ahead and let's do your shameless plug, man. Where can people catch you streaming?
All right. I'm at twitch.tv/Pentharian, Pentharian. And I don't really have any other online presence for this.
Yeah.
That isn't my personal stuff, so that's where you can find me.
Right
Hey,
on.
Penth, you know what game you should play?
What?
CS:GO.
What game should I play?
I don't think he's ever going to play that.
Nope.
Yeah. So,
not to get too deep into something, but games that require a very high level of skill are not for me. Like, you can play WoW, like if you're gonna rate in Paragon or Method, yeah, you have to be like right on your game. Like every cooldown has to be at the very, very last infinite moment that it comes out. But you can casually rate it and be fine.
yeah.
Playing like a fighting game, if you're playing against someone else who's just playing casually, you're fine. But if you're playing any of these games at a high level, and there are certain games that have to play like this all the time, it's not fun. It's not fun if you have to try really, really hard.
Yeah. Like you're always on point. You know, you always have to focus.
Yeah, my thing is with League of Legends, I do and I don't. It's kind of weird. It's like I play it to have fun, and I do. I have a lot of fun, except for when I play ranked sometimes, because that's just. I've never seen so many bad people in one game. I have never seen 9 people fail that hard in a game in my life.
I don't know, man. You played with me a few times.
No, they
I'm
were
just
worse
saying.
than you. No, they
It's
were
not
worse than
possible.
you. It is possible. I've never seen anyone at half health dive me under a turret when I had a full HP and try to kill me. And they started raging at me because they died. Like, that's how bad it was one game. It was
By
hilarious.
the way, hashtag best support ever. This guy.
Hashtag that's the biggest lie on earth.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. You guys, of course, you already heard Pentharian's stream. Highly recommend you guys go hit him up. You can grab me at twitch.tv/Shosan, SHOWSAN. I will also have this podcast up on iTunes very shortly. I'm hoping by Monday. As well, you can get us, of course, on YouTube. If you go ahead and do a search for Six Gaming Podcast, you will find us up on YouTube every week after we record the show. You can see us live on YouTube as well as Twitch. And, of course, I have our fantastic Twitch stream up on my other monitor here. So I'm always able to check and see what you guys are also wanting to talk about.
I also like to point out that our logo is no longer a stupid dildo-looking candle.
Right, the candle has died.
I like the candle.
Someone took the candle. I think
Yeah,
Ron took the candle.
A kobold.
But we've actually completely revised everything. We have a new logo, we have a new look, we have a new podcast, we have everything that you guys can watch. And if we don't have anything, come into my Twitch chat and tell me what you want us to see. Tell us what you want
We're
us to
sprinkling
hear.
some salt on that shit. Make it
Right.
fancy.
I don't care. If you want to be salty, go ahead, be salty. You know what?
salty.
I can take it. I got thick skin.
Yeah, I'll just run you over later on GTA 5.
Yeah, you probably will. Freaking backstabbing fucktard. Anyway.
Oh, wait,
for
is
the
there-
You're really
Six Gaming
enjoying
Podcast-
the
Say what?
You're really enjoying the change that we made, where we allow swearing, so you don't have to edit it
Yeah,
out.
I am. I don't have to watch my mouth anymore, which I don't know.
Here's our
Could be a
new,
good thing or a bad thing. I don't know.
Here's a new logo for anybody who's interested.
There it is. Tell me that's not pretty sleek and sexy.
I
That's
feel
a cool
like, I feel
little
like the
logo.
80s Tron movie.
What's wrong with Tron?
There's
Hold on,
nothing wrong with
what's-
Tron.
Tron.
With Train? Who's been drinking?
Not me.
I've had like 3 beers since this show started.
we're the only
You're
two
one who says
drinking.
train.
I'm a messed up individual, and words mean things.
I think we should announce what we're drinking. That can be part of our segment.
Yeah, let's do it. So, you know what? You go first.
I just saw it at the store today.
Ooh,
Blue Moon,
Blue Moon.
peach
Ooh, a
peach ale. It's
Is
the
it any good?
new seasonal one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. Well, me, I've always kind of been a beer guy. So this is a Goose Island IPA.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm real big on IPAs. So if they're bitter like that, real hoppy, I love those.
You ever had Stone Arrogant Bastard?
No, I've heard about it. I've heard amazing things about it, but I haven't had a chance
if you have
to try
Arrogant
it.
Bastard or Ruination IPA are both like you're basically just eating hops.
Well, see, the
amazing.
that's amazing. Oh, that's delicious. No, I'm in North Dakota, so I'm fairly limited on what I get. But for me, I'm a fan of West Coast breweries. So Rogue is where it's at. Rogue Breweries, man.
Oh,
They make
Ron
amazing
sent me a
stuff.
love letter.
Uh-oh. I don't
He
know.
said-
Cole's gaming in our chat says show was about to end like 20 minutes ago. It was. Who cares?
That's
This
all
is
right.
ending. This is ending like the Lord of the Rings is.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do
Just
want to.
keep
But I
going.
want to finish you off with this beautiful poem that Ron Clee wrote to me.
Okay.
He
all right.
goes, because I made fun of his little logo. He goes, "Fuck you, Veg. Fuck you. Preferably with a candle-shaped dildo." End poem.
That's amazing. You get a golf clap. Oh wait, it's snapping, right? That's what the head's
Yeah.
supposed to do. All right.
And I'm done. I'm out. GG.
Yep, we're gonna go ahead and finish this. That's how we're ending our show this week. Thank you guys for tuning in to our show, and of course we will see you guys next week. And as our missing co-host always says, see ya bye.